But I want to go back to the royal scandals now, Sophie, and these revelations that the former Prince Andrew used to have prostitutes coming to Buckingham Palace. And if that's not scandalous enough, the suggestion is the Queen would have known about this and done nothing about it.
When investigators retraced Andrew's steps through his official trips to Thailand and Hong Kong, they didn't find diplomacy. They found the patterns, the same luxury hotels, the same private adjustments to his schedule, and behind every closed door, the same steady flow of women entering his suites at all hours of the night. What began as whispers from hotel staff became a trail of testimonies from aides, diplomats, and even foreign officials. A trail that painted a disturbing picture of a senior royal whose personal desires consistently overshadowed his public duties. And the deeper you look, the more troubling the story becomes. Let's call this what it is. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor isn't facing consequences. He's enjoying an upgrade. While the rest of the country tightens budgets and worries about rising costs, Andrew settles into Sandringham like a man who's won a lifelong luxury package. Horses, shooting weekends, a roaring fire, port at 5 p.m., chefs preparing 3-course meals, staff ironing his newspaper and darning his socks. This isn't accountability. It's privilege without limits.
The Queen's favourite son, Andrew, ordered 40 prostitutes to visit him over the course of a wild weekend in Thailand when he was a trade ambassador. Doesn't sound like there was much trade going on.
And here's where it becomes truly infuriating for anyone watching. The behavior that brought him to this point wasn't mild misjudgment. According to historian Andrew Lowy, Andrew allegedly arranged for 40 prostitutes over 4 days during an official taxpayer-funded trip to Thailand while acting as Britain's trade ambassador. An official visit turned into a private spree, funded by the public. He denies the allegations, but the pattern surrounding him leaves little room for innocence. Then there's the Epstein timeline he couldn't keep straight. His decision to visit Epstein after the conviction, his questionable links to Chinese spies, the insistence on 5-star hotels instead of staying in embassies, racking up bills everyone else paid for. He behaved like a man immune to rules, convinced his title excused anything. Stripped of titles and military honors, yet cushioned by luxury, Andrew hasn't paid the price. The monarchy has. Public trust is damaged. The institution looks weak, and as he relaxes in comfort, it's Britain that carries the weight of his actions.
So Andrew, a 65-year-old aristocrat whose only great achievement was winning the womb lottery and being the son of Queen Elizabeth II, will now see out his days in plush accommodation in Norfolk's Sandringham estate.
This is where the crisis becomes bigger than Andrew. This is where it lands directly in King Charles's lap. The monarchy he leads is already fragile, and Andrew's scandals have pushed it to a breaking point. The issue isn't just what Andrew did, it's how slowly and softly the palace responded. The $12 million settlement with Virginia Giuffre should have been the final warning sign. Instead, the institution hesitated, and that hesitation created a vacuum of doubt. Charles inherited a monarchy in transition, and rather than showing firm leadership, he allowed scandals to drag on until they overshadowed his own reign. Add Harry's public attacks, the Oprah interview, Spare, and the Netflix documentary, and suddenly the royal family looks divided, unsteady, and unable to manage its own members. Meanwhile, the country is undergoing cultural shifts, political fractures, and debates about national identity, times when the monarchy should be offering stability. But instead of unity, it's facing headlines about Andrew's alleged prostitute-filled trips, his misuse of public funds, and the palace's failure to act decisively. And here's the part the audience needs to understand. The monarchy's survival depends not on tradition alone, but on trust. William and Catherine represent the future people still believe in duty, dignity, and modern leadership. The longer Charles delays firm action, the harder it becomes to restore confidence. If the institution wants to survive the damage Andrew caused and the silence that enabled it, it must change now, or risk losing the very public it claims to serve. What you're about to hear isn't just another Andrew scandal. It's one that strikes at the heart of the monarchy itself.
Yes, these reports have emerged here in the UK. Chris, it's never a dull moment here with Prince Andrew, or formerly Prince Andrew, now Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. And now there's these allegations that he had prostitutes in at Buckingham Palace and that his late mother did know about it.
According to new claims from historian Andrew Lai, the former Prince Andrew allegedly brought prostitutes into Buckingham Palace, the most protected and symbolic residence in British life. And the part that stunned everyone? The suggestion that the late Queen knew and chose not to intervene. This isn't tabloid gossip. It comes from a researcher who spent years digging into Andrew's behavior, patterns, and long-protected royal secrets. Think about what that implies. A senior royal, already linked to Epstein, already caught lying about timelines, allegedly using a palace grounds for private indulgence, and the person believed to have held the monarchy together for 70 years may have been aware of it. The palace has denied, deflected, and dismissed, but the questions refuse to vanish. This is why the headlines won't stop. Because this isn't just about Andrew's personal misconduct, it's about what the royal household tolerated, overlooked, or protected. Every leak, every allegation, every whisper chips away at the image the monarchy worked decades to build. And for Andrew, exile isn't cleansing. He was forced out of Royal Lodge, removed from public life, and buried under layers of no comment. Yet even now, with his titles gone and his reputation beyond repair, the scandals keep resurfacing, each one darker than the last. For the public, this isn't sensationalism. It's a legitimate question. How deep did the silence go, and who else enabled it? While these allegations dominate headlines, Andrew prepares for the next stage of his isolation, a discreet life tucked away on the vast Sandringham estate.
I suppose the expectation is on the Sandringham estate there'll be security around there. He basically just live his life there for a while and have to sneak out if he ever wants to go anywhere.
Well, Chris, it's a big estate. There's plenty of places you can stay there. It's not like he needs to go down to the local shop and buy his milk and newspapers and bread.
But let's be clear, this isn't hardship. This is managed exile. A retreat designed for privacy, comfort, and distance from cameras. A place where he can move unseen, have everything delivered, and avoid any accidental public encounters. Royal insiders describe it bluntly. He will not be seen for a very long time. Not at Christmas. Not at family gatherings. Not even on routine errands. Every appearance risks a new wave of backlash. Every public moment threatens the monarchy's already damaged reputation. So they've chosen the simplest path: keep him hidden, contained, out of view. But despite the seclusion, the headlines won't stop. And that's the real problem. Sandringham can hide Andrew's body, but it can't hide his past. The allegations of prostitutes at Buckingham Palace, the claims of 40 women in Thailand, the Epstein connections, the financial deals, the endless leaks involving him and Sarah Ferguson. This is why his story refuses to fade, because every attempt to bury him in comfort only highlights the divide between royal privilege and public expectation. You're watching a man shielded from consequences while the institution he damaged continues to pay the price. Even in exile, Andrew remains the royal family's most persistent shadow. And the question hanging over Sandringham is simple. How long can they keep him hidden before another scandal forces him back into the spotlight?
It's been revealed that Prince Andrew hosted the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein as well as Ghislaine Maxwell and Harvey Weinstein at the Royal Lodge, the publicly owned home where he effectively lives rent-free after he paid for its renovations. Well, this image shows them all at birthday celebrations at the mansion in 2006.
The moment this photo resurfaced, Andrew smiling at Royal Lodge beside Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, and Harvey Weinstein, the palace went into emergency mode. Not because the image was new, but because it confirmed something the public was never meant to see. These individuals were not casual acquaintances passing through Windsor Castle. They were privately hosted at Andrew's personal residence, a publicly owned mansion funded and maintained through taxpayer money, and the timing makes it even more damning.
Now, that was just 2 months after a US arrest warrant was issued for Epstein for the sexual assault of a minor, and Epstein was then arrested by police in Florida just 8 days after that event.
This gathering happened in 2006, just 2 months after a US arrest warrant was issued for Epstein for sexually assaulting a minor. 8 days later, Epstein was arrested in Florida. Yet there he was, sitting comfortably in Andrew's home, celebrating Princess Beatrice's birthday. For years, Andrew insisted he didn't know about Epstein's legal situation during that visit. But this photo and what it implies is nearly impossible to justify. According to royal journalist Pandora Forsyth, this isn't just bad optics, it's a crisis the palace can no longer outrun. The pressure inside Buckingham Palace is reaching a boiling point, with advisors privately admitting that Andrew's continued presence at the 30-room Royal Lodge makes the monarchy look complicit in protecting him. And now that Epstein's files and background connections are being dissected again, Andrew's own network is under renewed scrutiny. The fact that both Epstein and Maxwell, one convicted sex offender, the other now serving a 20-year sentence for trafficking minors, were welcomed into Andrew's private home shatters any claim of ignorance. Add Weinstein into the picture, and the entire scene becomes a symbol of how deeply Andrew misjudged, ignored, or willingly embraced dangerous company. With every leak, every archival photograph, and every unsealed document, Andrew's narrative becomes harder to defend. And for the palace, this isn't historical drama. It's a present-day liability threatening the monarchy's global reputation. The Epstein scandal isn't just haunting Andrew. It's circling the entire royal family, demanding answers the palace no longer knows how to silence. While Andrew clings to whatever fragments of dignity remain, the monarchy is preparing to make the final, inevitable move, removing him from the Royal Lodge. This isn't speculation anymore, it's the most realistic next step as pressure mounts from the public, parliament, and even senior figures inside the palace. With Epstein's connections being re-examined and new revelations surfacing almost daily, keeping Andrew in a mansion the size of a boutique hotel is not just tone-deaf, it is reputational suicide for the crown.
Andrew is losing his royal titles and being evicted from his royal residence. King Charles III is officially stripping his brother of his remaining titles. Andrew gave up his other royal titles earlier this month, including the Duke of York, following more revelations about his relationship with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein.
His decline has been slow, humiliating, and meticulously documented. First, he lost his military titles, then his HRH status, then his public duties. And now, as more connections to Epstein and Maxwell become undeniable, there is growing momentum to strip him of the last symbol he desperately guards, his prince identity, even if only in name. Insiders say Andrew is terrified of losing the title prince, because once that goes, there is nothing left tying him to the institution except his birth certificate. Moving him out of Royal Lodge is more than practicality. It's a symbolic cleansing, a way for King Charles to draw a firm line between the future of the monarchy and Andrew's implosion. Frogmore Cottage, the residence Harry and Meghan renovated, has been floated as a possible replacement. Smaller, isolated, controllable, and far away from the grandeur Andrew once enjoyed. A downgrade that reflects reality. Royal commentators say the choice is simple. Either Andrew leaves voluntarily or he is pushed out. Because the palace can no longer defend a disgraced royal living in a taxpayer-associated mansion, while headlines about Epstein, Maxwell, prostitutes, and cover-ups continue to erupt. This is the final chapter of Andrew's royal life. No titles, no honors, no influence, and soon, no Royal Lodge. The monarchy's message is shifting. The age of shielding Andrew is over. The crown will survive. He will not. Andrew's world is shrinking fast, and every new revelation pushes him deeper into isolation. The monarchy may endure, but his place within it is finished. The truth is catching up, and there's nowhere left for him to hide. What do you think? Should Andrew be forced out completely? Drop your thoughts below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates.